Hello, Despo Papachristodoulou here. As promised, I will take you through the answers to the quiz. Olive oil. They're both the same because there is no cholesterol in plant or plant products. So whether it says cholesterol free or it doesn't say so, both or any olive oil has no cholesterol whatsoever. Not as any other plant oil, by the way. It's a marketing, it's an advertising thing. The full fat milk and the 90% fat-free milk are the same. Full fat milk contains 4% fat, so it is actually 96% fat-free. So it's another advertising marketing point. Pure protein and pure sugar, carbohydrate. I put the pure protein and pure sugar intentionally, because if you put high protein foods, then you have to make allowances for the water content. Now, as they are shown, pure protein has more calories than pure carbohydrate. When we eat them, however, they're about the same, because carbohydrate, sugar or other carbohydrates, we metabolize completely, burn them out completely to carbon dioxide and water, whereas what we excrete from protein is urea, which is not completely oxidized. So before we eat them, protein has more calories, but when we eat them, they're the same. But note, protein is not a slimming food. It does not contain fewer calories than carbohydrate. The thinnest people on earth live in Southeast Asia, and their main dietary component is carbohydrate. It's mainly rice. The reason I put this is because there is this idea of the carbs being the villain, and it's not the carbs that are the villain, it's the quantity that we eat, and particularly what we put on them. How much butter can you eat if you don't put it on bread? How much spaghetti sauce can you eat if you don't put it on spaghetti? So the thinnest people on the planet, their main dietary component is carbohydrate, starch. Who lives the longest on earth? Inhabitants of Okinawa in Japan. And you may not be surprised now to find that their main dietary component is also carbohydrate. Their diet mainly consists of rice and a bit of fish and a bit of pork. Energy drinks, they're everywhere. For a drink or anything else to be called light, it has to have less than half of either the fat of the original or the total calorie content of the original. You cannot get energy without calories. So if the energy drink has had all the sugar removed and substituted with a sweetener, the calories go down and the energy derived from it also goes down. There's no energy without calories in biology. Superfoods, none of them. Superfoods is a marketing term. And in fact, in 2007, the European Union has prohibited the use of the word superfoods unless there are authorized health claims supported by credible scientific research. And none of these and many others qualify as superfoods. For example, broccoli has more antioxidants than blueberries. And as for wheatgrass, it's actually quite funny. One of the claims of its being a superfood is that it contains chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is present in every green plant that you can see around you, the lawn, the trees, anything. And what they say is that because the chlorophyll takes oxygen or contains oxygen, then you're bringing oxygen into your body. Two things. Most of us breathe oxygen. We don't have to eat it. And what is the benefit of introducing oxygen into you when you're then fighting it with antioxidants? Which of these is healthier long term? The first three are a bit similar, not quite. So the Atkins diet is low carbohydrate. A diet consists, as I said before, of carbohydrate, fat, and protein. If you're low in carbohydrate, you're going to be high in something else. It's difficult to be very high in protein. It's a bit unpalatable and it's very boring. So it depends what the fat is that you're going to put in your Atkins diet. Low carbohydrate, but if your fat, which will be inevitably high, comes from animal sources, but that's not a very good idea for heart disease and things like that. The Dukan diet, very high protein, that's why I put that white chicken breast, and very low carbohydrate. It's a pretty unpalatable diet, and the British Diabetic Association has actually declared it the #1 diet to avoid. The keto diet or the ketogenic diet has some merit for some groups of the population. Again, it is a high-fat diet and low carbohydrate, and it depends what fat you're going to include in the keto diet. It's called the ketogenic diet because when you're on it after a while, you're metabolizing fat, and so you can produce ketone bodies. The diet may be useful for diabetics as it restricts the carbohydrate, and it's also useful, it has been found to be useful for children with epilepsy. Other than that, there's no advantage. The paleo diet is interesting because we are told that the gut has not adapted to modern food, and so we should not eat any. So you're supposed to eat no processed food and no grains, because the grains appeared with farming. For some strange reason, you're allowed olive oil, and as far as I know, olive oil did not rain from heaven. The vegan diet is absolutely fine as long as one realizes that some vitamins will be missing and to take supplements. So if you're on a vegan diet, you will not get B12, for example, so that has to be taken into account. Losing weight. Well, the Beverly Hills diet, fruit for 6 weeks, fine. Of course, you will lose weight because you cannot eat that amount of fruit for 6 weeks to give you enough calories. So you'll have to use your own body stores. The detox diet, which is similar, is even worse because there is no fiber in it whatsoever. And we need fiber for healthy gut function. It's also misleading to call it detox diet because it does not detoxify. We have systems for detoxification in the body, which are the liver and the kidneys, and drinking anything will not clean your blood, as people claim. The cabbage soup diet is nothing magic about cabbage. It's just another low-calorie meal. Grapefruit, that's a bit silly because you don't just eat the grapefruit. You add it to every meal. So it depends on how much you eat with the grapefruit. You may or may not lose weight. There is nothing magic about it. Intermittent fasting was developed by an oncologist, hoping that because you get increased autophagy, which is destruction of redundant cell components, the hope was that it would attack tumors. It has not worked like that, and it's become a lifestyle diet pattern. So when we had studies using the same amount of calories given to two groups of people, one group spreading it over 7 days and the other group spreading it over 5 days, the weight loss was exactly the same. So it's again a matter of calories in rather than the pattern of when you eat them. This is the evidence so far. And this is to show that fat diets are not new. And it was Lord Byron who put on weight very easily and would go on diets of biscuit and soda water, or better, just water and apple cider vinegar. He also had some ideas about when women should be seen, and he said that women should only be seen eating lobster salad and drinking champagne. I hope that was fun. I hope to be able to expand on this if and when we can do so face to face. Thank you very much for listening.